So, I want to talk about some things that nobody's talking about right now. So, very important for small business owners to know. January 2024 was reported the biggest amount of bankruptcies among businesses in general, particularly small business owners. That's really, really bad. The other thing that's going on is the small business optimism index, which has some sort of fancy acronym. You can look it up, 4 letters, is at the lowest point that it's been in a long time. So these are 2 really, really important things that need to be taken into account. And if you're a small business owner, a fellow small business owner, and you're struggling and you can't really seem to pinpoint what it is, these are some factors among all the other macroeconomic factors. So you've got inflation working against you, right? They're taming it right now, but it really did not help that they printed all this money and machine gunned it out. Everybody's defaulting on their, well, not everybody, a lot of small business owners are defaulting on their CEBA loans. So that loan they just gave out to small business owners. And so there's been a lot of struggle there. Plus inflation equals higher rents, higher cost of materials. Wages have also increased. Minimum wage increase doesn't help a lot of businesses that are counting on cheaper labor and have smaller margins, aka restaurants. I spoke with a few restaurant owners. Costs of transportation have also increased. So just all around, it's kind of the perfect storm right now going against small businesses, okay? So don't think you're doing anything wrong or that you probably are doing a bunch of things wrong. That's part of being in business, is doing a bunch of things wrong and then trying to avoid repeating them and fixing them. But you're not doing anything specifically wrong. These cards are stacked against you right now. So the struggle is real. The struggle is normal for a lot of people, a lot of fellow small business owners. And, the important thing is to acknowledge that and try and make it through the storm. Or I know some people that have thrown in the towel and just were towards the end of their career and said to themselves, you know what? It's my time. It's the time to, pack it up and either sell the business or close up shop and retire. I had a few do that in the sort of luxury space, B2C luxury space, which was very challenging during certain low points in the economy, especially if you don't have a moat. For those of you who don't know what a moat is, go and look it up. Very important to find basically your defining advantage. The other thing that I've noticed as a business owner who helps fellow business owners with marketing is I noticed a lot of new little businesses just sort of coming up, sprouting up, popping up out of nowhere. Side businesses, plan Bs. People need that extra revenue. The guy that cut down the tree in my yard, he does that on weekends. I know someone who's coming up with a mobile tire changing service out of nowhere, part-time. Another CRM consultant popped up out of nowhere. He has his full-time gig. He's getting us to do all his marketing, and he's running that on the side. So there's a lot of these new businesses popping up. So but don't be fooled. Just because you see business as usual doesn't mean that the economy is shifting a little bit and the situation is changing. So all the businesses that are in what we would call, I guess, commoditized industries, we're talking, moving, alarm systems, anything that has a relatively easy point of entry that you could sort of start yourself on weekends is becoming more cluttered and more competitive. So there's a sort of direct and indirect competition. So your direct competition are your real competitors. So people who have been in your space for as long as you've been. or longer. But you're sort of on the same level as them, right? Financially, number of employees, revenue, types of clients, experience, service offering, support, the whole kit. And you have indirect competition. So you have indirect competition that's coming up to bite you, all right? And they're coming up on weekends, evenings, and make no mistake, these guys are eating at your revenue. And, good for them. They're seeing opportunities and finding unique ways to carve out value in the market and develop solutions and offer them and make a reasonable profit, which is what business is all about. Helping people and adding value and finding a hole in the market, an area that they can participate in that and grow and help grow everything. So that's all positive. But for you, as an existing long-term currently struggling, I would say, entrepreneur, or if you haven't felt the struggle yet, it's coming for you unless you have a moat, unless you have a way that you can prevent competition from even existing. So if you have large-scale deals with the government, or a unique technology, or some sort of what we call barrier to entry, so you can't just have competitors out of nowhere coming out to sting you, to bite you. If you have all that, well, you're good to go. So if you don't have one, I suggest trying to work on it. What distinguishes you and your company from your competitors? Is it speed of delivery, price? Is it technology? Is it some sort of unique value proposition, UVP? Either way, guys, I think what's most important is to fight the good fight and just recognize the situation. If you're doing marketing right now, chances are it's not working quite as well as it was previously for a lot of reasons. There's more competitors bidding on ads. There's more new businesses that are coming in bidding on ads. There's existing competition. Your existing competition is going to be increasing probably their ad spend and their marketing budget because of the lull in their revenue, right? All of a sudden, it costs more to get that same amount of business. So they're going to be raising their ad budget, right? So you can expect things like SEO, Google ads, Facebook marketing, social media marketing, marketing, all of that, email marketing. It's going to become a little bit dicier, a little bit more challenging to get in there, right? Even email marketing. If you're getting 10 emails a day that are targeted towards you, you're now getting 15 emails a day. So you have to break through that clutter. So everything is becoming harder, more time consuming to get results, and more expensive, okay? And I'm making this video for my clients so they understand the situation, but also for all fellow small business owners that have been sort of banging their head against the wall, looking at their numbers. Why are my sales not the same as last year? I did the same thing that I did last year or 2 years ago. Real estate has been hit really hard. Everything connected to real estate has been hit really hard. There's 37 or so, or 39%, I don't remember the exact figure, don't quote me on this, but it's very, very close to that number. 39% year over year, less new builds, okay? Less new constructions. Here in Montreal, in Ontario, I believe the slowdown is about, 27%, okay, year over year. 27% decrease year over year in new construction and new builds. And so I'm not going to mention any names, but let's just say the guy who's been running this exotic country of ours has not delivered on his incentives and his real estate stimulus, his real estate plan, his real estate strategy, okay, to stimulate that industry. Because if real estate is doing good, usually everything else is doing good, okay? And if people feel like their houses are more liabilities than investments, So a lot of people that own rental properties, like myself, and other people that just have, they're landlords. They're gonna feel that. They're gonna feel that pinch because their mortgage rate just went from 1% to 7-ish%, 6-7% now, if you're on a variable rate, current rate. So that means you had a 600 to 700% increase in your interest payments on that property. So if you leveraged, if you went max leverage and you bought up multiple properties, guess what? you're looking at a negative cash flow. If you're lucky, you're at a break-even cash flow. If by some miracle you're at a break-even cash flow right now, you've done well. Okay. But if you're positive, Tom, you're good. You have a lot of equity in that property. Good for you. Small mortgage. Good for you. But this is the reality we're in. And if real estate is not doing well, and people don't look at their homes as investments, they look at them as liabilities, and their properties, their rental. I mean, they're not going to be willing to invest, let alone have the money right now because of the economy, right? They're all feeling the pinch too. Groceries are more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Your home, your rent is more expensive. What's not more expensive right now? What, if you can name one thing that's less expensive this year than it was last year, I would be very curious to know what it is. I'll go and buy some. Okay. Minus, let's just say, equities, okay, because some of those have gone down. But don't be fooled about the overall situation of the stock market. That's not telling the whole story. So the Magnificent Seven, okay, all the big tech companies are having the time of their life right now, but a lot of small businesses, we're talking you and me, guys, 90% of businesses are small businesses, okay? 90% of small businesses consist of 10 or less employees. My company isn't huge. I have a lot of subcontractors as well for certain services, but at the core, we're in that category. We're a small business. So don't be fooled, guys. The stock market is not telling the full story, and the struggle is real for the majority of businesses. And so if you have the cash flow and the drive and the timeline and hopefully some sort of moat to your business and good marketing, okay, if you were just doing whatever marketing and it was working, you were getting a lot of foot traffic. Maybe if you have a retail location, you may or may not be in as positive a situation right now. So if you want to talk to me and go deeper into this conversation, I'm around. You know where to find me. If you have some comments on this or opinions or ideas for other small business owners on how to come out of this situation and come out ahead, because I do, and I'd be glad to share those with you. I might do another video about that. But there's definitely ways to counter and to tweak and to fine-tune your situation and make it better. So if you're all with me on that, a great, lightly tap that like button like a fairy, or smash that like button like a Hulk, whichever way you choose to do it. Share this with a fellow entrepreneur or a friend or somebody who's starting a business or has had a business for a long time but's having maybe a bad day or a bad week or a bad month or a bad year. Okay, there are quite a few of those. So, and remind them that it's not their fault. It's not that they've been failing at their business and everybody else is doing better. Let's just say, I'll give you the best metaphor or analogy. You have a pie and you got 10 slices of that pie and you have 10 buddies over to eat this pie. Let's just pretend all of a sudden you have 20 buddies to eat that same pie, okay? The population didn't double, but maybe the amount of competition increased and you're not even aware of it, okay? You're like, what's eating away at my business? And I can tell you that I've gotten more calls this year, 2024, from small startups, one-man show, two-man show, partners, three-man show at best, and new businesses that are ready to kick your butts, guys. So brace yourselves. I'm upgrade your situation, take active steps. Don't think that what you did last year is going to work this year. It's not going to work the same. If that's your plan, if that's your game plan, and you're just waiting for the situation to get better, look, you can control certain things, but you can't control the macroeconomic situation. Okay, the government and a lot of other factors. Okay, are going to control that. So just control what you can control, and what you can control is you can take another look at your situation, and you can revise, tweak, fine-tune, upgrade how you're doing business. Maybe you need a better competitive advantage. Maybe you need to discover your moat. Maybe you need to shift into a very relevant tangent, let's call it relevant sort of a business category, or offer services that are very let's just say services that your customers would trust if they came from you. I do web stuff, I do marketing, I do content, I do design, I do problem solving, high level complex solving problems of bugs and challenges and technical issues and a lot of other things. And that's what my clients come to me for. When they think web, marketing, design, print, even, they think of me and my company. So what could you add to your stack of services, or how could you upgrade your existing service and leverage and reach that same client base that you have right now that you've built throughout the years? If you have a room full of people to sell to that you can add value to, and you have things that they need, what would they trust you with? What services would they trust you with? So if you can figure that out, and you can figure out just generally how to upgrade your business, you're going to have to work on your business now. Just increasing marketing spend blindly, doing the same stuff you were doing last year, is not going to work. I truly believe that. So if you have a different opinion on all of this, I would be very curious to know. But there's been the biggest amount of bankruptcy filings than there have been in the last 10 years in the month of January 2024. Okay, so that's people who had to repay their SIBA loan. And I called this. I told a friend, I knew this was going to happen. I said, there's a lot of businesses that are going under, okay, that have taken that loan. And it's dangerous, because I think I saw a stat somewhere a while ago that was very much talking about how if you're a small business or a startup and you get funding, actually your chance of succeeding goes down significantly because you're used to getting fed. You're just getting that money, okay? So think about that. So a lot of businesses now had that money to pay back, and they couldn't do it. So look, you're suffering, you're working what an entrepreneur works, 40, 50, 60, 80-hour weeks, and you're either breaking even or not making any money. Plus you have a huge loan to pay back that's accumulating interest. Well, if you haven't changed your ways, you're going under. I'll catch you in the next video.